This is the Soul Holla podcast.
Every week, we bring you mystical accounts from forgotten folklore to the fringes of consciousness.
Exactly. If you have ever felt there was more to this reality than what you are being told, you've come to the right place. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Brenna, and we are your hosts on this weekly journey. Welcome to Soul Holla.
This week we're going to be talking about talking to the dead and an interesting technique that someone stumbled upon, a doctor. And so let's just dive right in.
Yeah, so the interesting thing, this is Whitley Strieber, who has unknown, what's it, Brenna?
Unknowncountry.com.
Unknowncountry.com, which is...
Yes. He's awesome.
Fun fact, I learned about that from you. The full version. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And he's interesting. I didn't know about it until you told me, and then I subscribed, and there's a paid subscription which cuts out all the ads, which is super nice. But I found some very interesting things on there. He's known for, what's his best-selling book that he wrote?
Communion.
Yeah, which also pretty out there for the normal folk or people who are not like PSY curious.
Yes, he was ahead of his time. He went from being a very lucrative novel writer, mostly horror fiction novel writer, who was well known. He was up and rubbing elbows with all the artsy fartsies, in New York and whatnot. And then he had all these experiences out in their woods.
They have a little cabin or something, right?
He and his wife and their boy had have maybe still, I don't know, a cabin up in upstate New York, and a plethora of alien, non-human, whatever you want to call them, experiences happened to him. And he wrote a book back in the 80s called Communion, and it literally sunk him. It sunk the poor guy. It wasn't the right time, but somebody had to do it though, and so he was sort of like the martyr for the cause. And he basically lost almost everything because of writing those series of books.
So he took one for the team, like basically writing a true life story that people was not fiction.
That the government or whoever makes these decisions decided, no, people can't know about aliens yet or something. Who knows? But that's what unknowncountry.com is. It's his website, Whitley Strieber, and we listened to one of his podcasts, and we're just going to talk about the podcast because it's interesting. It's an interesting topic. So let's get to the actual podcast.
Yeah. So they talk about, so he's interviewing a man named Dr. Allan Botkin, who talks about,
also known as Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil or Dr. Al?
Dr. Al. Sorry, my bad.
But Dr. Phil is also an interesting person. But so he called him Dr. Al, and he uses a technique that was developed. I think it was just discovered accidentally by Dr. Francine Shapiro, EDMR, which a lot of people are familiar with now.
Say that again because you said that really fast. EMDR.
EMDR, which stands for electromagnetic desensitization. What's the R?
Let's start over. It's eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. That's what EMDR is. You get an F.
That's funny. Electromagnetic eye movement. Okay, but there might be electromagnetics involved. We don't know. So.
We're energy. Come on, everything's electric.
So she accidentally discovered it. He actually uses it in therapy, and when doing that, he discovered that some patients or clients or patients, I don't know the right word, have a experience with the dead. So do you want, like, yeah, so there's this very specific example he offered in the podcast, where he was talking about a Vietnam vet.
Yes. So basically this technique in a nutshell, you can look this up yourself. Not that I respect WHO or the medical establishment in any capacity, but they recognize this as a very reparable, actually good technique to get people over trauma and PTSD. And so he basically, what you do is you move your eyes, like when you're in REM sleep and your eyes are moving.
Back and forth.
Somehow, some way, that Dr. Francis lady, she discovered if you just move your eyes when you're talking about all the stuff that we like to push down, deep down, and not think about guilt, sadness, stuff like that. But if you talk about it and you let all the emotions come out and you move your eyes at the same time, something happens. And I personally tried the technique on myself 2 days ago. And it did. I had a shift. I thought of something very sad. I did the eye movements and something shifted. Like the guilt was gone. And all that was left was a little sadness still, but rightly so. And I made a mistake when I was a kid and I did something that I regret, but can't undo it. But I've had this guilt and the guilt's gone now. And now it's just sort of logic. Like I learned from the experience. I literally learned from the experience. And so in a way, it kind of makes it all worth it. Anyway,
so you did that to yourself, and you got that result.
I did it to myself.
And it's like a horizontal movement, back and forth, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know exactly how to do it, so I just did it like I thought our eyeballs do. And I even closed my eyes at one point and rolled my eyes back like they would be sleeping, and did it back and forth, and it was even better. And so something shifts. Don't ask me. It's like weird voodoo magic, but like our bodies are a lot more interesting than one might think.
Yeah, I think it's like a processing. It creates a processing where we're no longer stuck in fight or flight about something, or we're no longer.
Yeah, exactly. It just takes it basically takes the edge off of most extreme. And you made a good point when we were talking about this earlier, in that you're like, it sounds like you're rewiring, you're creating new neurons. And that's exactly it. There's techniques that you can literally do, and it's just a couple like movements with your fingers that literally break a neuron in your head. So you can reestablish a new one that's
like
more
habits
useful
or something.
That's more a habit. Something that like always worries you and you just can't quite shake it ever. There's a couple like techniques with your hands, and it's just so weird, and all of a sudden you're just like, I feel totally different. Why doesn't everybody do this every day when they wake up? I don't know.
Super cool.
So anyway, that's what this technique is. It's a physical eye movement when you bring up the worst of the worst, and something
traumatic event
shifts within you. Yep. And you're able to reprocess.
Yeah. They said it takes it can take about 20 minutes to totally work through your system, but it does shift things.
Yeah. It does. I literally thought of two things. I did it twice, and I had massive relief on one and pretty darn good relief on the other.
Incredible.
So it was, and I didn't even know what I was doing. So you don't even have to know what you're doing. Awesome. You just move your eyes back and forth while you're thinking of the worst shit that you don't want to think about.
Let's bring up that really painful stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get to the more interesting part of the book. I mean, that's interesting in and of itself that it works, but here's how. So he's a doctor. He does this technique with a lot of vets with PTSD, and then something started to happen in his practice, which he completely tried to debunk himself. He's like, this is BS. I don't believe my clients.
He had a hard time
just imagining this.
Yeah.
He had a hard time, but he came around finally, and he wrote a book. And his book is called drum roll as I move, Induced After-Death Communications by Dr. Allan Botkin.
Yeah, I know. I want to get that
Common
book.
spelling on all that. yeah, it sounds really interesting. So this story is of Sam. It's one of his clients. Sam was in Vietnam way back when, and Sam had taken an orphan Vietnamese little girl under his wing and was kind of taking care of her. There was a lot of orphans where they were stationed, and some of the troops just, kind of helped out. And he even it went so far as he called his wife and said, we need to adopt this little girl. She needs to
he
be
really
part
felt
of our
like
lives.
a father to her.
Yep. And then tragedy struck.
Yeah. So then what happened was somebody made a decision farther up the line that said that all the kids, all these orphans, can no longer just hang around with the troops. They had to get loaded up into a truck and be shipped to a Catholic orphanage. So they were doing that, and Sam was talking to Lee. Lee's a little girl. And he's like, hey, I'm going to come get you. I'm going to find you. Don't worry. I'm still planning to adopt you, but we have orders to send you guys on your way. And just as all the kids were in the truck, somebody somewhere, I don't remember that was necessarily outlined specifically, but somewhere they opened up fire and they were trying to get the kids back out of the truck, trying to save them.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, out of the blue, someone, or maybe it was a Viet Cong, I don't know, but someone started opening fire on the truck.
Yeah. So then, unfortunately, as he was looking for Lee after all of this, she was towards the front of the truck, and she was dead. She had a bullet wound in the back, and
And he turned her over, and she was very dead. He held her for
he was traumatized.
A long time.
This was super traumatizing for him. Yeah.
Yes, and the troops, his fellow troops and stuff, had to literally tear him away from her eventually. And so he went forward in life feeling horrible about the situation, and rightly so.
Yeah, it was really hard. Here he was trying to protect her, and then she died, right in front of him, practically. And he even had his own daughter, and he had a hard time relating to her because he just, I think, years later had so much guilt about it. He was kind of keeping her at an arm's length. He just couldn't get close again.
Yeah. So anyway, this Sam guy eventually finds this doctor, Dr. Al, and goes and has, I don't know how many sessions they had, but went to Dr. Al. And he had this technique performed, and it was very emotional. He went through all of the trauma that he felt, all of it, while he was doing the eye movement. And then one thing that Dr. Al does with his clients is after the big emotional, tidal wave, he has his clients just close their eyes and just be. Just don't talk. Don't try not. Just be. Just quiet your mind and be. So this guy did it, and he saw. He says, I was seeing it like his mind's eye, but he said it was crystal clear, and it was a Asian woman.
I think he even said it was Lee. I think he knew it was Lee right away, didn't he?
I think so.
Long dark hair, but an adult.
She had she was an adult, and he knew it was her.
Filled with love, he felt a lot of love.
Yep, kind of like almost like a Christ-like love.
I don't think he
figure.
said that, but
and no. I'm just saying,
it was a lot of love.
Must feel like a Christ-like love, But anyway, so.
And she said she was okay. She just said, hey, and she gave him a hug, and he actually felt it. And the Dr. Al only noticed that he didn't know what was going on, obviously, but he noticed him smiling. He noticed that Sam was smiling. And then afterwards, Sam told him what happened. And like you said earlier, Dr. Al was like, what? No way. Okay, that's a really cool imagination. And he even made people double check on Sam. Is he okay? Because he thought maybe he had a break with reality.
Oh, yeah.
He was concerned.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, maybe something broke. I need to make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
And he was actually fine. It just felt,
and this experience, he says, when this this grown-up Lee came to him and hugged him, he felt arms around him. And I
touch.
have had that yes, and I've had that experience. I know that it can happen. So I do believe this guy's story. I'm not going to go into details, but I had something horrible happen, absolutely horrible. And I couldn't have felt worse in my whole life. And it was the next morning, and I've never been in such turmoil. I didn't even know what to do with myself. And I felt arms wrap around me from behind. And what I felt was 100% unconditional love.
Wow.
I did. And it was right when I was turning a corner too in my car when this all happened.
You were driving when this happened? Whoa.
I was driving. I was crying. I was horrible. I was in a horrible. What happened was like horrible. It's like the worst thing you can imagine. And that happened. And
so you received
I'm alive
healing
and
about
happy.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why I say Christ-like.
For you, it felt
when
very
it happened.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't admit to being a Christian or anything. I have nothing against it or anything. And this probably has to get cut out. But don't want to offend the Christians, but
well, it's like love, unconditional love.
But when it happened, I thought, oh, I wonder if that's Jesus.
Oh,
like
cool.
I did, because I think Jesus is the real deal. I mean, I think he was a real guy. I think he had powers. I think, and when that happened, I thought, oh my God, I just got hugged by Jesus.
Oh, that's cool.
And this is why I think that too. And it kind of, I had a hypnosis practice. Okay, this is a little sidebar. I might cut this out. I had a hypnosis practice, had 2 different clients, 2 different times. They didn't know each other, 2 different locations. And during their hypnosis sessions, at one point, both of them went, oh! And I said, okay, but to describe what you're seeing, what's going on. And they went, oh! And I felt unconditional love surround me. And guess what they both said? Both times I felt that when they went, oh! And both times they said, oh, Jesus just came in.
Oh, interesting.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So that's why I say Christ-like love. Because I think Jesus, he comes around. He does his due diligence to humans still. And I think he's the real deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that unconditional love is pretty like that. When it comes in, I mean, I've only felt something a couple times that I thought was pretty comparable to that. Like I felt, wow, that I'm feeling some major love. But it's unconditional love. It's like that, and most of the time we're dealing in conditional, where if you do this, then you get this. But unconditional is like, no, you're loved no matter what you do. And it doesn't matter. Pretty powerful. I mean, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Okay, so to finish up the actual story.
Sidebar.
Sidebar. Basically, he came out of it a changed man. He was relieved of all the
trauma.
The trauma that he'd been carrying around for how
probably
many years?
Since he was like
18
until whenever he saw Dr. Al. Yeah.
And that daughter, his biological daughter, he was like, oh my gosh, he's basically ignored her whole life because
had a hard time emotionally connecting.
Her energy, got mixed up with Lee's energy, and he just couldn't cope and whatnot. And he sought his daughter out, and now they have a really good relationship for the first time. So
crazy.
All with a little eye movement.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like,
all right, people. The moral of the story is move your damn eyes, move around while you're thinking about horrible things.
No, but like Whitley said, like seek out somebody who knows how to do that, or like you did, do it yourself. But there are things like this that are super simple. Like, how simple is that? But it works, Like, it actually sent somebody on a much better path when they had been struggling so hard to, like, let that go or keep it pressed down. He didn't have to press it down anymore. It was free. He was done. And he was able to connect with his daughter. So that's really cool.
Yep. So that's story number 1. We have a few more coming up.
Yep. Stay tuned.
Okay, now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about how deceased animals, also show up during some of these sessions.
Right. And in the podcast that we listened to from Whitley Strieber, he talked about his little dog who he was half asleep and thought that the dog was right next to him, and then realized, like, wait, this dog would be 65 years old. This can't be real. This must be a dream. But in his quote unquote dream, the dog felt real. It acted real, like he was stroking its fur. And then Dr. Al did share a story about how one of his clients had a dog who came in with the uncle. An uncle appeared to him in one of these recall sessions, and the dog kept jumping on him. And then he said, they talked about it, and he said he told the dog to sit in one of the sessions, and then the dog sat, and then he wasn't woken up in the night being jumped on. What do you remember about it, Brenna?
Well, that's pretty much what I remember as well. What was interesting most of all is that, so many people think that animals don't have souls or spirits or they don't carry on. But, like, literally everything has some kind of essence within it, especially things that are sentient, alive. They can think, they can feel, they have a soul, okay? Or whatever you want to call it. But so it was curious that animals came in, and animals are so affected right now with all Earth's changing and us changing from one density to the next over the course of however long that's going to take. But, I have a couple interesting, these aren't animal stories via they've died, but this kind of shows how sensitive animals have gotten.
Let's hear it.
And I don't think even 30 years ago we would be having this conversation, because I don't think animals were necessarily, I think they're evolving on planet Earth just like we are, as we start moving through these energetic spots in space, and it's inundating us with all sorts of new frequencies. It's also doing it to the animals. So here's one story. It's
1 second before you hop in. I just wanted to ask. So you feel like maybe 30 years ago, animals were not as able to communicate like they are now. Is that what you're saying? I just wanted to clarify.
I think so.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it. It seems like when I had a dog when I was a kid, or even a teenager, or even, in my 20s, I loved my dogs, and they were very responsive, and they loved and everything. But it was a different kind of relationship. The dogs I have now, they can throw fits. They have jealousy spurts. They're way more like humans than dogs. As I grew up, I always had dogs. But let me tell you this story about these turkeys, and it's a sad story, but it kind of hits home on how animals are evolving as well. So this coworker that I had, his best friends, couple, bought 2 baby turkeys and raised them in the backyard like pets. One was for Thanksgiving, and unfortunately one was for Christmas. And they raised these guys as pets. And the turkeys became a couple. They were coupled. One was male, one was female. And bottom line is Thanksgiving rolled around, and apparently I wouldn't let him go into details, and he wouldn't go into details, but he said it was not an easy death for that turkey. And the other turkey watched. The other turkey watched. He goes, it finally happened. They dispatched, so to speak, the turkey. And so 2 days later, the couple are sitting out in their backyard, and the surviving turkey walks out to them, and they said this turkey looked like it was drunk. It was listing back and forth like it was drunk. It was like, and it walked right up to them, and went, Rah! And they collapsed sideways, deader than a doornail. And they both said that turkey died of a broken heart.
Oh.
They said that turkey came up to them, and the horrifying look on its face, and it squawked once and fell. And so that's kind of like what animals are capable of now. that a turkey could just fall over and die of a broken heart because it watched its mate that it was and its owners. It loved its owners. They raised them like dogs in the backyard for months and months and months, like 6 months. And so
Oh my God, that's heartbreaking. That's so hard.
Sad story, but like that's kind of where we're going with animals. So it doesn't surprise me when this book started talking about animals showing up because, especially in the soul realm, I mean, they're capable of knowing more than we know here because we have to come here with amnesia. So suddenly our animals really have more awareness than we are when they're dead.
See, and I feel like And I feel like my cat sees way more than I do. I feel like I don't have a dog currently, but I feel like the spectrum that they see is wider than ours, and I see it following, its eyes follow things that aren't there. Like, I don't see things, but I know it's watching something, and it's not a little bug or anything like that. Like, or it'll, like, all of a sudden turn its head and look in the corner of the room, and I'm like, it's looking at something, and it's something there. I can't see it. Have you ever experienced that?
I have. I had a dog, Gray. You remember Gray. Did you ever meet Gray?
I feel like I did.
Yeah. And so I had Gray and Belle at the time, a little rat terrier, and Gray was an Australian cattle dog. And I heard them both growling a little bit in the living room, and they were both up on the couch, and they were both staring at the wall in the exact same place. And then their eyes went from almost the ceiling down and then over, both at the exact same time, over. And I'm staring at the wall going, something's here, because they were growling, and they're watching this thing move around my living room. I never saw it. But I watched them watch it until it finally disappeared, and then they jumped off the couch and it was gone. But, I've experienced that with my dogs as well. And it's a little disconcerting, to be honest, that they're seeing something and I'm not. And I'm like, come on, I'm the sensitive one. It's here. But, it wasn't anything but malevolent, I don't think. So it just kind of came and went.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we do have the ability to see a wider spectrum. I feel like we do. I just think that we, for whatever reason, are programmed just to see. I mean, what's the first thing we're taught? Our colors. Like, if it's not on the color chart, is it a color? No, like.
Right. Well, and also, like, all the glass that is around us in our cars and our homes and our glasses, they're all UV protected, and it's for your good. It's for UV. Well, in the UV spectrum, you're going to see more, okay? NASA, the International Space Station, like the military, they all have these cameras and these video cameras that not only can record in ultraviolet, but they can also record in infrared as well. And boy, it's sort of like Star Trek out there. When they turn those on, there was little ships all over the place. And there is a really cool documentary. Yeah, there's a cool documentary called Beyond the Spectrum. And it's all about that. It's about these lenses. And then all of a sudden, it became illegal to own one. And they took them off the market because they didn't want anybody to be able to see them. So then, a while back, this is probably 10 years ago, there was new cataracts. And these new lenses were synthetic lenses, and they made them in such a way, and they replaced them on quite a few old folks' eyeballs. And all of a sudden, these people are like, there's something in our house. We're seeing monsters, and there's shit there's shit everywhere. Anyway, those lenses
seeing what my cat was seeing.
They were seeing a higher vibrational frequency of light in the higher spectrums that are eyeballs. They could see it, and they were seeing like probably fourth density beings, fifth density beings. And they were all over the place. Remember, all densities exist in the same space. It's just out of phase with one another. So anyway, they were able to pick it up. And so needless to say, those cataracts became obsolete as well, because suddenly all these old people were like, oh my gosh, there's a ship above my house. There's like this entity in my living room. There's things staring at me everywhere.
Wow.
So, Yeah. So all we need is a little extra help. And I just saw an ad, and they're actually starting to come out. And maybe it's this new administration, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But there's a lot of interesting truths coming out right now that they're slipping out here and there. They're allowing stuff to come out. And I saw they're going to start selling glasses, or they are right now, that are infrared and ultraviolet. So
Oh my gosh, Brenda, we got to get a pair.
I know. I think they're going to be. And they also, I noticed, this Chinese, and it was like $78 or something. You can get the neurophone. So you can literally, if you bought one and I bought one, we could telepathically speak to each other across the United States. Across the state, at least, or the whole United States. Yeah, people are doing it all the time. And Patrick Flanagan, Dr. Patrick Flanagan, it's called the neurophone. He patented it back in the 70s. And he sells it, but it's like, $2,000 and stuff. But now you can get a little Chinese knockoff that totally works. And people are like, you can speak telepathically with each other, And it fits down on your neck. And so the audio that will come in, you won't hear it through your ears. You hear it right into your head.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. Now, what do you think about this? Oh, go ahead. And I'll ask a question.
But he made this in the 70s, and they were doing human-made telepathy easily. And they were starting to communicate also with dolphins back then. They were hooking the neurophone up to dolphins, and they were able to communicate, So, interesting stuff. Okay, so I'll shut up.
No, that's all interesting. I want you to keep going. Like the dolphin. No. So I did listen to a podcast a while back, or maybe it was probably a podcast about these scientists in the 70s that lived with dolphins. Like they had some sort of situation where it was like part water, part, but they were definitely connecting and being like I'm not going to say like, but friends, I guess, with these dolphins that they were communicating with. I wish I could remember more about it than that, but there was a lot of stuff that happened in the 70s. And then I've seen even stuff prior to that, like prior to the 70s, where they did have like what we call FaceTime now, where you're looking at somebody. They had that way back when. Like that is not a new thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, gosh, we could go down a huge rabbit hole.
Yeah, we could.
I mean, the World's Fair. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever happened to the palaces at the World's Fair? Whatever
that's a
happened
whole
to
separate podcast.
I mean, we could really be going down some massive rabbit hole.
It's but we're almost, Brenna, like they tried to hide stuff from us.
It's almost. I mean, it's almost like everything we've ever been taught is a total lie. Almost
like that. Yeah.
It's almost like that. Well, I think the truth is starting to come out slowly but surely. It's not going to happen overnight because everybody has their own threshold of when they wake up. Some people never do. So it's going to be a mixed match, and Earth is it's a little bit in turmoil right now. I'm not going to lie. I think we're going to end the show now because we are going to just jump down rabbit holes till the sun comes up. And so
it's a great place to leave off so we can pick up again.
Sign off. Yep. Yeah. And Rachel bought the book. She's going to be reading it. So we might even hold this podcast for a while and add to it later. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for
listening to So Holla.
So holla. All right. Until the next time. Over and out.
Until the next time. Bye-bye.